friends, today's video is showing you a card that I recently created for demonstrators in my Serene Stampers group. I made 12 of these yesterday and popped them off in the mail. And it's just a simple card, but I really like how it turned out, so I thought I would do a video to show you how I created this card. So there's a few different stamp sets I'm using for this card. So the first one is Mediterranean Moments, which is new in our 2017 Occasions catalog from Stampin' Up. And it's this image right here that I've used on the card. It's the little cafe image. Then I'm using one of my all-time favorite stamp sets, Gorgeous Grunge, and I'm using this splatter right here. And I've actually used this set so much since I got it that I wore out the case. I had to get a new case. Love that set. If you don't have it, you'll love it if you get it. And this is another one that's right up there with Gorgeous Grunge. Love it. Timeless Textures. And I'm going to use this image here. This is a fun set that you can only get during celebration, and oh darn it, you can only get it for free. So with qualifying orders, you can get this Delicate Detail stamp set for free with Stampin' Up until the end of March. And it's this stamp right here that we're going to be using on the card. And then the next stamp set I'm using is called You've Got This, and it's actually a really amazing stamp set, but it's this stamp that I wanted. I just wanted that texture. So let me show you how I've put this card together. So the card base is a piece of Fairy Vanilla, and when folded it measures 5.5 by 4.25. So I'm going to set that aside. Then I have a piece of crumb cake, and this measures 4 inches by 5.25. And then my next piece, the piece we're going to be stamping on, is another piece of Fairy Vanilla, and this measures 5 by 3.75. Okay, so I'm taking my crumb cake. And I'm just going to stamp on the right side of my card. Now I'm taking my crumb cake. And I'm taking this image from Timeless Textures, and I'm going to stamp it all around the card. Such a neat texture stamp. Okay. Now I'm taking my splatter stamp from Gorgeous Grunge, and I'm just stamping it randomly, and I'm not re-inking it. So that some splatters are darker than others. Alright, so we're going to put that aside, and now we're going to work on our banners. So this strip is from our Sending Love Designer Series pack, and I've just cut it to measure 3/4 of an inch, and it's 6 inches long, but we're going to be trimming that. And then I have a piece of Fairy Vanilla scrap that also measures 3/4 of an inch by 4, but again I'm going to be trimming that. And then this is 1 inch Fairy Vanilla. So they're all going to be trimmed. They're just scrap pieces that I've had. So now I'm taking this image from the Delicate Details Celebration stamp set, and I'm inking it up with my crumb cake. And there's also like a straight edge and kind of like a curly edge on here. I want to stamp the straight edge in the middle, and then I'm going to turn it and line up that straight edge to stamp it again. So you'll see what I mean in a second. So you see how there's that straight edge there? That's how I'm going to line up my second stamp right across that straight edge again. See? Comes out really cool. I really like that. I'm going to put the crumb cake away for a minute, pull out my chocolate chip, and I'm taking the big background stamp from You've Got This, and I'm inking this up with my chocolate chip. I'm taking my 1 inch scrap strip of Fairy Vanilla, and this is going to be trimmed down. So now I'm taking my banner triple punch, and there's 2 markings on the inside of this slot, so I just center my paper between those and then punch, and it comes out great. I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. And this piece here, I'm going to trim up anyhow, but I'm going to punch it for now. And then making sure my hearts are going in the right direction. Line that up and punch it out. All right. So except for the sponging, those pieces are done. Okay, so the next step is my hearts. So what I've done is I've taken some scrap pieces of Real Red cardstock and crumb cake. I ran them through the new hexagon textured embossing folder, which is beyond words. That's how amazing it is. It's just so cool. And so now I'm taking my hearts from the Love Notes framelits, and these are actually on back order right now, but they're coming. They'll be available later this month. And believe me, this set is not just for Valentine's. There's so much you can do with it. So I've got them on my plate on top of my magnetic platform, and now I'm putting my next plate. I'm just going to run those through my Big Shot, and this is what I end up with. A really cool heart and then another one, and they both got some really neat texture on them. And actually my crumb cake cardstock I ran through the wood grain embossing folder. So they both have a little bit of different texture on them, just for fun. Alright, time to do some sponging and putting the card together. So I'm going to do all my sponging with my chocolate chip and the sponge. And all the layers are going to be sponged on the edges. I've always loved the look of sponging on the edge of paper. It just really seems to finish it off. I'm going to do the same thing to my banner pieces. And actually, once I finally figured out my design layout for these cards, they went together really quick. They didn't take long to put together. And like I said, I did 12 of them. And I had them all done probably within maybe an hour and a half. I just pre-cut all my banners, all my hearts, everything. So all I had to do was just sponging, stamping, and sticking them together. So it worked out really good. Do my crumb cake now. And with the Stampin' Sponges, I just cut them up into pieces and put them in a jar, and then I've got them for all my different colors. And the card base is going to get sponged as well. Okay, there's the sponging done. So I'm going to go ahead and take my fast fuse and stick my crumb cake on the card base. Just like that. I'm going to set that aside. And now I'm going to put my banners on. So I'm going to start with my hearts. And I'm going to position that right about there. And I'll trim off that excess. Now I'm taking my banner with the lace and put that right about there. And see, now this piece I do want to trim it up a little bit. I wanted it to be thicker than 3/4 of an inch, but not too much thicker. And then this is going to go right in the middle. And then I'm just going to turn it over and trim off those banners. And then put this on the card base. Took me a while to get the hang of this fast fuse, to be honest. And now that I have, I love it. And the trick is, I should show you, is you want to pull and then flick off real quick, and it works really well. Okay, so now we need to add some pops of color. So I'm taking my multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down the center of this heart, just like that. and position it onto my card, maybe right about there. Now I'm taking a tiny piece of Stampin' Dimensional that I've trimmed up, and I'm putting it behind the crumb cake heart. And that's going to go right there. And I want those sides of the heart to flip up a little bit. There we go. Taking a rhinestone diamond and just going to put it on the bottom of that heart. And then the last step is our sentiment. And I'm actually using yet another stamp set. It's called Picture Perfect because I wanted to use this sentiment right here, just a note. So that's the beauty of our stamp sets, is they all work so well together. I'm taking my Real Red ink. And there you go. A little piece of computer paper for the inside so I can write my message. And sometimes I do stamp inside my cards, but more often than not I really don't. But if it's a really special card, I will. So there you go. And you'll notice the difference on this card is the patterned paper. There's bigger, bolder hearts than on this piece. And also I used the different lace image on this one than I did on that. And instead of this edge, I actually used a different stamp from the same stamp set, Timeless Textures. I used this one in Crumb Cake. So you get two different looks. So there you go, my friends. An easy card, but I like the simplicity of it. And it's just a really fun card to make. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Whoa.